got me stranded like a branch in the wind. Tell me what you long for. Oh, I won't what you want.
Last episode you saw WildChild leave Eleuthera and head over for New Providence Island, which is Nassau. We're sailing out, conditions are perfect, and it should be an easy 50-mile day.
Oh, it goes far out.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of line out. And again, we've got the fishing line out, ever hopeful of catching that elusive mahi-mahi for dinner. So WildChild's been sailing along happily on a full main, no Jenny. If I may insert a little technical stuff to explain why I was running with main only and no Jenny. We were sailing along comfortably at 5 knots in calm winds, but they were dead from behind. But I knew in about 45 minutes the winds were due to clock around when the storm comes. You can see that when sailing dead downwind, the mainsail catches all of the air and fills, pushing you along nicely. But it creates a dead zone with no airflow behind it, so therefore there would be no power to fill the Jenny. The Jenny would be useless and not do anything in that position. To get the Jenny to help us, we would have to pull it out to the port side and run wing on wing. But the winds were going to shift around shortly anyways, and I didn't want to waste the time pulling out the Jenny on the wrong side. So I was not being amateur or incompetent running with the main only. I was being a little bit lazy though. Adding the Jenny would have only added another knot or two of boat speed anyways. It was easier just to wait for the winds to clock around. But you can see the wind angle sort of starting to come a little bit from the beam, the portside broad reach. We're okay, we're like 12 over 5 or, 13 over 5. We've decided though, because we got the wind angle from the side though, so we're not choking out, we're going to add the Jenny for speed and power. I don't want to add full Jenny because if you look at those clouds, there are storms in the distance and there could be nasty winds and power in those storms and we're not sure which way they're going. We look up into the sky for anvils, and we don't really see any anvils, so we're not forming any powerful cumulonimbus storms. So whether this storm in the distance has powerful winds in it or not, we're not sure. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull about 70% Jenny out to give the boat more stability and speed, because we might as well get where we're going, but we don't want to put 100% Jenny in case that storm brings with it any nastiness or powerfulness, like any strength. We don't want to get heeled over. So Alina's all set up. She's going to do the starboard, which is the low side. She's going to pull it out, and I'll take the slack on. I'll pull the slack on the port side winch, and I'll control the furling line and how much we let out. So I can't film this, guys. Let me try this. It's unlocked. Let's go nice and slow. Come on, get it in. Go, go, go. I'm going to go right there and lock it. So, okay, well, get another wrap and lock it up. Don't get your fingers in there. Get it locked. And grab your winch handle. Feel good about that. That's fine.
It's fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now WildChild's running full main and about 70% Jenny. We're in calm conditions running with the wind behind. And we're probably just, I don't know, maybe 28 miles from Nassau, 25. Should be an easy day. So, adding the Jenny really didn't add a lot of speed. So before we were 12 over 5, we're still 11 over 5.4. It doesn't make a big difference. But you can see the wind angle. And we are, if we look at this, distance to Nassau is about 23 miles to Nassau, so we'll be there shortly. It's not a big jump. One of the things that I find hard about fishing in the Caribbean is that your lure is constantly getting tangled in seagrass. And fish don't seem to be too fond of eating salad. We sail along close to the edge of the storm, waiting for nasty winds that never come. Eventually, the tall buildings of Nassau loom up in the distance. As is the way of things, as we come into Nassau, we get rained on. There is some nasty clouds up there. It's not a big storm, it's just enough to make sure we get wet while dropping the main. So WildChild is coming into Nassau, and there are rocks and there are coral heads around, so we have to keep a close eye out. So we turn on the mast camera to give us a view so we can watch ahead of the boat, looking down for dark spots, any shapes that we think might be a coral head. You can't always blindly trust the location of the rocks on the chart plotter. And the forward scan is doing okay right now. We're going to do our best not to hit anything. And the water's gone back from dark blue to the turquoise green of the Bahamas. Right now, WildChild is running only with full main, no Jenny. We have it furled up because A, we need to be able to maneuver, and B, we want to be able to see with the mast camera. Conditions are calm as we make our way in depths of 24 feet or so. With WildChild's enormous keel, I must say, I love having a mast camera when traversing shallow waters with rocky corals all around. In 25 feet of water, I can see the bottom clearly, the sand and the grass and the rocks. Navigating into Nassau Bahamas is a little trickier than other places in the Bahamas because there are many rocks sticking up from the sandy bottom. So us two girls were paying very close attention at the helm. And slowly WildChild motor sailed her way around, dodging the rocks until we entered the Nassau harbor. So sorry I didn't film it, guys, but we just spun around into the wind, packed the mainsail away. Now under motor power, we're headed for the Narrows entrance. We're at low tide and rising, and according to the chart plotter, our keel should just scrape the bottom as we go through into Nassau. And Skipper Elena's got the helm, and she's doing fabulous, making sure that we don't hit rocks. Now everybody knows that Nassau is a famous vacation destination, which of course means it's full of tourists. Well, I can say welcome to Nassau. WildChild is anchored on the east end. North is up. That's where the cruise ships go over there. These are the two bridges we don't want to risk getting our mast under. So we're anchored on the east side where Vince told us to. But it's a sporty anchorage. There's quite a bit of current in here. And we are wind against current currently. So we hung the Rockna nose hook up there. And then we hung the day hook, but we still dragged too much. It dragged the day hook. So we took up the day hook and put in the Bruce anchor way back here. WildChild's now hanging between the two anchors, and she's holding pretty well. We got current in that direction and wind in that direction.